ladies and gentlemen, hello, and welcome to episode 250. We're officially a quarter of a... not century, what is a millennium? Is that 1,000 years? Yeah. Through this series. And what better way to mark that than with the Judgment Day pay-per-view premium live event. The SmackDown branded show. We've got last year's Judgment Day on our screen here. This was like right as we were starting to break out of like 82 being the max. We had Candice and Ruby against Shotzi and Ember. Only Candice on the show out of those. Gable was on the show again. That looks like it. From Sasha, Johnny, yeah. And yeah, too bad we didn't book a main event last year, so I guess Nakamura and Gargano goes in as the main event, but oh well, that's all that really matters. What matters is this year, and we've got a stacked show. Roman Reigns against Keith Lee. We got Bayley against Dakota Kai. We've got Seth Rollins and Apollo Crews. We've got House of Black versus the Alpha Academy. We've got Legado, Andrade, Raquel, and somebody against DIY and Candice LeRae, along with a lot more. Without any further ado, let's jump straight into the show. I mentioned all those matches that we did have. I didn't mention the match that we do have, or we don't have, and that's LA Knight and Kevin Owens on the kickoff show, because Kev still has his damaged shoulder. So Ricochet and Happy Corbin, 2-day build, thrown on the pre-show, and Happy Corbin cheats to win. He cheats to beat Ricochet in 10-24 with a handful of tights. That dastardly Happy Corbin gets a 90... No, Ricochet gets a 97. Fucking hell, Ricochet. Just casually reading that out. Yeah, Ricochet gets a 97. Happy Corbin gets an 82. That's actually pretty good for Corbin as well. They have great chemistry. But yeah, Corbin cheats to win here on the kickoff show. Bad start to the show for any Corbin haters out there. Intro. We've got Roman Reigns, Keith Lee, Dakota Kai, Bayley, Seth Rollins, Apollo Crews, Braun Breaker, Adam Cole are the four matches we've highlighted here. And as has been tradition with every single episode of SmackDown apart from this week's, guess who's opening the show? Burn it down. Here comes Seth freaking Rollins for his match with Apollo Crews. Gets an 89. The Blue Man is back. He had a one-off week against Corbin 2 weeks ago, but he's back to getting those blues now when he defeats Apollo in an 89 rated match. With a curb stomp, he gets an 88 and Apollo gets a 79. So this feud really, I accidentally stumbled across this. Originally, Seth was just going to miss this pay-per-view entirely. But then the Apollo feud sort of just fell on my lap. And I was like, fine, we'll do Apollo and Seth again at this show. Because it did really good on TV and it will do even good on the pay-per-view. And Apollo will benefit a lot from it. So whatever the bloodline have been teaching him, that lesson may be over because Seth Rollins has picked up the victory. He got an 88, Apollo got a 79. And what a way to kick off the show. Next up, Trick and Mello come up for their first pay-per-view appearance, and they're going to cut a promo about it. And I was like, look at this, Trick. We finally made it, Judgment Day here in New England. You tell him, Mello. He's like, well, Trick, what this is going to be, this is the first of many times you're going to see Carmelo Hayes on a WWE pay-per-view event for a long time. You tell him, Mello, about it. Well, Ziggler and Morrison, they're the past, and I'm the future, and the present. And I'm going to prove that tonight, because when I shoot, Mello, don't miss, and you don't whip that trick, etc. So, yeah, just a quick promo to give them promo time on their first pay-per-view before the tag match, these two against Ziggler and John Morrison. Gets a 72. Ziggler and Morrison don't work well as a team. That fucks a lot of my plans up, actually. I might cheat to fix that. That does fuck up a lot of my plans. Oh well, we move. But Carmelo pinched Morrison with his finisher, the diving leg drop thing. 36 for Trick, 77 for Carmelo Hayes, 66 for John Morrison, and 74 for Dolph Ziggler. The match gets a 72, that's fine, considering Trick was in the match and he didn't do great. Carmelo scoring 77s already, so that should tell you his trajectory on this roster. And he actually scored the best in the match because Ziggler got dinged for the chemistry here. It probably would have been him if it wasn't bad chem, but yeah, Melo can celebrate not only the actual victory, but the ratings victory here. Next up, Johnny and Candice come out together for the 6-person tag match. And then Ciampa comes out by himself, and he's just stands in the ring. He's like, Johnny, if you trust me, you trust me. If you don't, you don't. But we're going to win this match together. Then out come Legado de la Sombra. Zelina obviously can't wrestle. She's got the shattered knee. Andrade and Raquel, and then Cruz and Joaquin are both in ring gear, because they still haven't been informed about which member is going to be the partner of Andrade tonight. Zelina's like, boys, stop nagging. We told you to stop nagging. Andrade will pick the member of Legado de la Sombra that will be his tag team partner tonight when he wants to and who he wants it to be, and he won't be persuaded by either of you two. And as a matter of fact, Andrade's partner is neither of you two. And they're both like, what? But we're the only other two guys in this faction. And you've got a shattered knee, you can't wrestle. I think it's like, yeah, you would think that, wouldn't you? But obviously, once this match has been made, we made a couple of phone calls and say hello to the newest member of Legado de la Sombra. And out comes Gran Metalik, who will be the third options. It'll be Andrade, Raquel, and Metalik against DIY and Candice. So Gran Metalik, he's been in Death from Above with Lindsay and Cynthia Crespo basically this whole time. They started out really good. I want to be with the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, but to say that I've done nothing with them over the last year is an understatement. And Gran Metalik is a big meme in Discord about how much I love this man, and he's also just really fucking good in the game. So I need to find something for him to do. Lindsay, I'll try and find something for. Same with Cynthia. She'll probably end up going back to NXT and then popping back up as a manager somewhere else down the line. But Lindsay, I'll try and find something for. I don't know what that would be, but I don't want to put both of them in this group because it feels like they both need something. They need a refresh. And putting Metalik as the singles man, because you've got, hypothetically, if they were going to go for all the belts, Andrade would be the world champion, then Cruz and Joaquin would be the tag champions, and you've got Metalik would be like the US title guy, with Raquel as the women's champion and or tag champion with Zelina when she's fit. So yeah, Metalik's going to be in Legado. Better spot for him than being in Death from Above, who are doing fucking nothing, I think. Anyway, unfortunately, it's not a great start for Metalik because DIY and Candice do win this match. But he doesn't take the fall. Johnny actually submits Andrade with the Gargano escape to win the match because that is the feud here. That's the big blow off. And DIY just coexist normally. Ciampa just does his thing, Gargano does his thing, they even do a meeting in the middle. And then before Johnny locks in the Gargano escape. So maybe all of Johnny's worries were for nothing. He gets an 88 though, and a 66 for Ciampa, 80 for Candice, 77 for Metalik, 70 for Raquel, and a 95 for Andrade. But yeah, 78. This feud is finally concluded with these boys and girl on top. Backstage segment. Bayley's of course getting her gear on ready for the match when Cora walks in, of course. And Bayley's like, yes, I know, hello, yes. She's like, right. How are you feeling? And Bayley goes, well, I've had about countless championship matches now. I'm used to this sort of feeling, Cora. Like, I know you're new here, so you don't really understand, like, the skill level that I'm at. I'm on all these championship matches, but this is just coming naturally to me. I'm not really stressed at all. Cora's like, well, is it because I'm here? Is it because you know that I've got your back and that if Dakota tries to cheat, you're going to have someone there to watch your back for you? And Bayley's like, it's not that at all. No, it's just that I feel confident in my ability to beat Dakota. I feel like I'm better than Dakota Kai. She beat me at WrestleMania last year, correct, but I feel like we've both evolved since then. I can now beat her one-on-one. I don't need your help, but I guess you're contractually obliged to be out there. So just don't screw anything up. And Cora's like, got it. Yes, don't screw anything up. And then Bayley leaves and Cora starts talking, mumbling to herself like, don't screw anything up. 82 rated match. Sasha beats Utami. I can't justify putting Utami over here, given the popularities of the two and the immediate booking plans for Sasha Banks wouldn't warrant a loss here, let's just say. And I feel like Utami would do good enough being in this match because it's a banger. So I also don't want to keep her unbeaten, because I've said my thing about unbeaten streaks before. I feel like they're a crutch, and unless you've got like a big monster man who should be unbeaten, like there's no point keeping Utami unbeaten. There was no point keeping fucking Anne-Marie Cooper and whatever her name is, Kelsey Cook, unbeaten. There was no point keeping somebody else, I can't remember. But yeah, Utami loses, but it's a valiant effort. So she doesn't really lose. She gains a lot by being in this match. But Sasha is the one who goes over. Speaking of the Devils, Anne-Marie Paul and Kelsey Cook, we're just going to get a recap of like the segment on Friday of Charlotte telling them to step up for the tag titles, and then a graphic hyping up that on SmackDown there will be the triple threat tag match, with the winners going on to Champions Night Raw on week 4 May to face Charlotte and Jordan for the tag titles. Another 82. That's okay, I'll take that. Alistair and Elias are the chosen 2 members of House of Black here, and they retained the belts. They beat Chad Gable and Otis when Gable gets pinned with the Black Mass. Notably the Creed brothers and Coach Thatcher and all them, Desmond Troy are at ringside, and we sort of get a couple of like teases that the Creeds might come in and help out, but ultimately nothing. They think better of it, and the House of Black pick up the win. Alistair drops Gable with the Black Mass. 79 for Elias, 87 for Alistair, and 86 for both the Academy boys. But Alpha Academy are so close, you know, maybe if they had a different combination, they might be able to get the job done. Kyrie's out next, because it's Io's birthday celebration. Kyrie has the microphone, and she's like, you know, since we lost at Backlash, Io's not really been herself. Like, we tried to speak to Kayla 2 weeks ago, and she sort of just like went off in a strop. And this happens, you know, ups and downs in all of our careers, but Io's birthday is coming up, or has just come up, depending on the actual date, I can't remember. But we're here to cheer her up as a family, you know, so let's bring her out here. And Io comes out, and she's like, Curry, this isn't necessary, look, you didn't need to get a cake, presents, and all this shit. Like, yeah, I'm a bit down, because we lost the titles, but I'm still the top women in this world. I'm still the best women's wrestler on the planet. I'll need to turn my fortunes around. It's as simple as that. Guy's like, well, who wants but a kick in the ass and a boost, you know? Got the cake, your favourite presents. Look, happy birthday. That's all good now. She tries to get the crowd to start singing happy birthday to Io.
Toxic.
Mandy, Gigi, and JC Jane. Mandy was like, what am I looking at in this ring, girls? Are you seeing this? Like, the great Kairi Sane, the great Io Shirai. These were dubbed like the best women's wrestlers on the planet. They came to NXT with such fanfare and such hype, and became the NXT Women's Champions, and they were going to save the women's division, in here having birthday celebrations to cheer each other up because they losers now. That doesn't feel too good, does it, girls? Well, unfortunately for you, your time atop the women's division may not have the longest shelf life, because for those who don't know, obviously you all remember me. How could you forget it? Mandy goddamn Rose. Like, everybody who sees me for even 10 seconds remembers me, because like, oh my goodness, look at her. But you may not know my friends, Gigi Dolan, JC Jane, Toxic Attraction. We're sort of like the hot new thing here. And you two used to be the hot new thing, but now you're the washed up stepping stones that we need to take out to get to where we need to be. So Io, honey, consider this birthday cancelled. And then JC and Gigi attack Io and Kairi. They get into a fight. Numbers game. 3-on-1 assault of Io. Like, Gigi and JC hold Io, and then Mandy knocks her out with a big knee. And then, because there's a cake there, someone's got to go into it. I'm not doing that to Io. So Kairi takes the cake to the face before getting dropped with a knee by Mandy. So, Toxic Attraction are here. I thought it was about time to bring him up, you know. And they're feuding right at the top. They're feuding with the figurehead of the goddamn company, so that's a nice introduction, I'd say, if I do say so myself. But the entire birthday party setup was a way to bring these three ladies into the fold of SmackDown. Speaking of SmackDown, I guess the whole thing is speaking of SmackDown, but oh well. We get a recap of the kickoff match, Corbin beating Ricochet, then we cut to Corbin walking into the piss off like, woo! Thanks for the opportunity, Pierce. You know, a couple of weeks ago I've threatened you with violence, and I was like, I'm that's not me, that's not the kind of person I am, but I really need you to, I had the best interests of SmackDown at heart, I really need you to put me on this show, because like, I'm happy goddamn Corbin, I'm the best star on this roster, and you've given me the opportunity here tonight, and I won. So what's next, Pierce? Pierce like, what do you mean what's next? This show isn't even over yet. What's next? I know, but what's next for me? Am I in Money in the Bank now? Was that a Money in the Bank qualifier? Am I next in line for the Universal WWE Championship? Pierce like, okay, here what? I'll tell you about that. Was an impressive victory you got against Ricochet. So here's what you've just done. You've earned the right to compete in a Money in the Bank qualifier. Corbin's like, great, I'll win that whenever it is. Okay, so Pierce is like, okay, so we've got LA Knight and Kevin Owens in 2 weeks' time. I've got a match booked in for next week. So it'll have to be in 3 weeks. You've got 3 weeks to prepare. And Corbin's like, great, well, who's my opponent? And he's like, you will face whichever one of Roman Reigns and Keith Lee does not leave tonight as WWE Champion. All of a sudden, Corbin's expression changes. He's, whoa, I'm angry. It's like, sorry, Pierce, I don't think I heard you correctly. Did you say? He's like, yeah, you will face Keith Lee or Roman Reigns, whoever's not the WWE Champion, come 3 weeks' time. You'll face them in a Money in the Bank qualifying match. Corbin's like, fine, yeah, I'll beat them, sure. Oh, 88. Holy shit. Bron Breakker beats Adam Cole in 12:34 with the Gorilla Press Power Slam thing to retain the belt, defense number 4 of the US title, and I think his best match ever. Cole, because he's finally now popular enough where I don't have to keep people strong, so Cole just took the L here, and it showed in the rating. 88 for Cole, 69 for Bron, and what a big win for him. He gets the dub over NXT 2.0, beats NXT Black and Gold, I guess, is the story. Woo. What's next for Bron Breakker? Who's next, you could say? Seth Rollins. He's like calling down after his match, after the other match. And Kayla comes up to him. It's like, Seth Rollins, congratulations on your big win to open up tonight's pay-per-view. What a match against Apollo Crews. And Seth's like, you know, Apollo's a great competitor. I don't know what Heyman and Roman are talking to him, but as much as I hate to admit it, they're getting into that boy's head, and he's putting up a great fight. He's gonna be a star around here if he keeps listening to the words of the right people. But tonight, Seth freaking Rollins was just that little bit better, and I don't know what's next, Kayla. I've got to hope. I'm pulling for Keith. Keith's got to beat Roman because I need to keep whipping Roman Reigns' ass. But as long as he's got that belt, then I can't face him for it. Kayla's like, well, obviously it could be Keith Lee, but also we do have Money in the Bank coming up, and you know, whoever wins that Money in the Bank has a guaranteed title opportunity, so they could cash that in and face Roman Reigns for the WWE Championship. And Seth he's looking off in the distance as Kayla started talking about Money in the Bank, but then she said like a guaranteed title shot to cash in for Roman Reigns, and he sort of like turns his little head around. It's like, what was that? Money in the Bank. I guaranteed championship opportunity. So guy's like, yeah, you know, you won it. You know how Money in the Bank works. And Steph's like, huh. So what you're saying is whoever pulls that briefcase down, whoever owns possession of that Money in the Bank contract, can challenge Roman Reigns for the championship at any time. Kayla's like, well, or Big E, yeah. Or whoever the champion is. Seth goes, interesting. And he walks off. Hype video. Bayley, Dakota, Cora's in there as well because she's an integral part of the story. But, yeah. Bayley earned the right to face Dakota Kai. Cora's been bugging her and bugging her and bugging her. Good cop, bad cop. Well, they're both good cop, I guess, but buddy cop, friends. Movie will be coming to the WWE Network in this world. But for now, will the SmackDown Women's Championship be coming to Bayley? Fuck, I hope that's not serious. Bayley's gone down with an injury. But the story here is simple. Dakota just wins clean. Because Bayley's like, oh, I don't want Cora out there. Cora's gonna, like, I don't want her to get involved. Don't mess anything up. And Cora was so desperate to not mess anything up that she just didn't do anything. She just sort of chilled out there, cheered Bayley on. She had chances to, like, win it for Bayley or, like, stop Bayley from losing. But Bayley told her not to do anything, not to fuck it up. And she's so inexperienced that she listens and, like, oh, I don't want to do that in case I fuck it up. So in the end, Dakota just wins with a scorpion kick. 11:28 to retain the belt. 80 for Dakota, 84 for Bayley. Side note about Dakota. The 80 rating, you'll probably notice, is probably the best she ever scored. That's because she got injured. I think it was like right after last year's WrestleMania. It was like a fucking knee, something to do with her knee. And like it was one of those nagging injuries that she can work through, but it was affecting her performance for like over a year. And she's only just shaken that off, so she's now wrestling at 100%. Bayley, on the other hand, is not. So we'll have to see how badly that is. I really hope it's not serious, because I have big plans for Bayley over the summer and fall and the rest of the year, I guess.
You throw me up. Wrestling. A man barely alive. Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology. Better than he was before. Better. Stronger. Faster. But what are we to do with all these leftover parts?
Quick graphics. SmackDown. We announced the Triple Threat Tag Team match next week. But we've also got 2 Money in the Bank qualifiers. Toni Storm will face Sasha Banks, who won tonight. And I believe maybe for the first time ever. I don't think they ever fought as part of the church or when the church broke up, because Seth went straight off television. Seth Rollins battles Johnny Gargano in a Money in the Bank qualifier. So 2 big matches as well as that Triple Threat Tag match. And then, of course, the week after, we've got LA Knight and Kevin Owens. And the week after that, we've got Happy Corbin versus either Roman Reigns or Keith Lee. So Money in the Bank lineup for SmackDown quickly becoming stacked. But speaking of Roman Reigns and Keith Lee, no Uso, no Fatu, not even a Heyman. Mano and Mano in the main event here at Judgment Day. 89! Yeah, Roman Reigns wins. Like, nobody thought Keith Lee was winning this. And that's fine. Like, I do like to make things not be, like, super predictable, but, like, when you've got especially, like, a heel world champion that's going on a long run, you're going to need to feed him names that, like, are there just to pad out. And that's fine. That's what Keith was. Keith was a credible challenger. But nobody really thought he was toppling the Tribal Chief here tonight. 92 for Roman, 82 for Keith. And the match gained heat to the storyline, apparently. Heyman did good work at ringside despite not being there. Ignore that. I just couldn't be asked to take him off just for this match. It's easy to just do it this way. But when the match is over, there was nothing about the Bloodline not being able to run out and attack Keith Lee after the match. So Jimmy Uso and Jacob Fatu assault Keith Lee. Fatu gives him a Samoan drop through the table. As Roman Reigns just sort of watches on stage, he orders the boys to join him up, and he puts the finger in the sky, he the one, to end Judgment Day. 90. I'll have that. That is a good rating. And I like this show more so for what it's setting up in the future than the blow-offs of what has been set off in the past, if you get me. Like, the stuff with the Bloodline up here, the Dakota Cora, or the Bayley Cora stuff, if Bayley's not fucked up. The Sasha stuff here. Seth Rollins and all that. Yeah, I like this as a natural progression of the stories, as well as just a chance to get some good matches on the show. But what matters more than what I think and what the game thinks is what you thought. So do let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I'll see you next time for episode 251, where we've got Raw. Their Money in the Bank qualifiers continue with Matt Riddle and The Miz, and Mackie and Nova Nebula, as well as we're in Hollywood, the return of Goldust. See you then.